Hello, 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 hello. It's Deanya. Hi, Hope Crew. Hi, YouTube. So, this today is the next in the series of poetry challenges. And today's poetry lesson is all about rhyme. And so, we all know kind of what rhyme is, words that sound the same at the end of them. Cat, hat, sat, fat, met, wet, sit. And so these are what we call full rhymes. Now, there are other things that writers do besides use full rhymes. They also use some other kinds of rhymes, and these are called, some of them are called slant rhymes. And a slant rhyme or an off rhyme is where you take the same consonant sound at the end. And if you remember what your vowels are A, E, I, O, U. And the consonants are the things that make the stopping and the starting of the vowel noises, right? So, b, k, d, f. You know you have a consonant when you can't say it out loud without, you can't say the way it sounds without adding an A to it, or an E, or an I-O, or a U. This is a consonant. And so slant rhymes will have the same consonants. So something like cat will be able to rhyme with the word met. Cat, met. You hear the T consonant sound, and you hear a vowel that is not a full vowel sound. It's very close to the full vowel sound, but not quite. So, sought, cat, met, wrought, let. These are what we would call slant rhymes or off rhymes. And these are perfectly acceptable to use in your poem if you have a rhyme scheme, if that is your purpose, the reason that you're doing it. Now, think about the difference between you use a full rhyme scheme. A full rhyme is something your audience is expecting. It's going to sound very sing-song, and it's going to sound more childish. But now if you're working with a very difficult poem subject matter, you might want to use a slant rhyme, something that the audience takes notice of when it doesn't come out full, the full sound. If you're rhyming a slant rhyme with otherwise full rhymes in your poem, your audience is going to say, "Whoo, that's different. What's different about that? Oh, wait, that's not a full rhyme. Why are they doing this? What do they want me to see about this line?" So the most important thing about when you're writing poetry is to just make your very conscious choices. You want to use full rhymes when you want the effect of having a full rhyme. Sing-song, easygoing, childish, light. Or to surprise and shock a reader, like when I wrote my poem about the Russians and the Chinese are calling us names, and they play war games, right? This sounds like a childish poem, but then it's like, whoa, it's not a childish poem. Hold on, what's going on? And so I used full rhyme on purpose. Now, if I had wanted to provide a more sophisticated adult poem that didn't sound like a child's poem immediately, I would have used some slant rhymes. Okay, so we will be working some with those, and I'll be working more when I show you my own version of a poem, a challenge, which will come on Wednesday. On Mondays, I just want to introduce a kind of poem or a concept of poetry to you, have you work with it a little bit, play with it a little bit. When you have questions, comments, anything, leave them in the notes. I can reply to them. And then on Wednesday, I will answer the challenge myself. Plus, I will give you a little bit of a deeper challenge, something that takes the poem a little harder, right? And so for the rhyme challenge this week, what I want you to do is think about rhymes. Think about the impact that rhyming language has. Take a look at some poetry that you can find online. Look at the difference between full rhymes and slant or off rhymes. That's what they're called. Now, look also at the times that poets are using repetition of words, where they're saying the exact same word over and over again. And sometimes this is done in the middle of a line, and what this does is it takes attention off of the rhyme at the end of the line. It's funny, but if I say the same word 3 times within about 4 lines of poetry, you might miss the idea that one of them is an end rhyme. You can kind of bury rhymes this way sometime. So a false rhyme is another way you can play with rhyme. A false rhyme is when you have the same consonant sound, but they're spelled different. For instance, bridge, hedge, gouge, rouge, enrage. These are all j sounds, but they're not spelled the same. Sometimes you have a DG, sometimes you have an AUGE, so they're not spelled exactly the same. Now, there's another kind of rhyme that's called a sight rhyme. Now, these are words that look the same on paper, but when you say them out loud, they actually don't rhyme. And so this would be a situation where you might really take the rhyme scheme and you would write the word here, and then down here it looks the same, but it doesn't sound the same when the reader says it out loud. I didn't think ahead of time to come up with one of those. We have one in today's poem that I'm going to share with you that's shared down in the description part. So let's go ahead and look at that and think about how the lines are ending in this poem. These are very, it's a Robert Frost poem called Nothing Gold Can Stay. So I want you to look at how he's using rhyme in this poem. He's not working so much with meter, but Frost is a master, and I'm sure it's buried in there somewhere when I take it apart. But here we go. I'm going to read it. Nothing gold can stay. Nature's first green is gold. Her hardest hue to hold. Her early leaf's a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf. So Eden sank to grief. So dawn goes down today. Nothing gold can stay. So he's playing with some ideas there, right? He's talking about gold in the sense of money that we know about money. All Robert Frost poems are always working on at least 3 levels, and we will look some more at that on Wednesday with this poem, but we'll also look a little bit more at how to rhyme and how you're playing with rhyme and what we're going to do next with some advanced rhyme structures. So This week, try to work with the rhyme scheme that Robert Frost is using here. You have couplets. Remember, you wrote couplets before with rhyme. That's what you're doing again this week. You have 2 couplets, and we will call this, the rhyme scheme is broken down by letters. So anytime you have the rhyme scheme repeating, you will see the same letter on the form layout of the poem. So this week you will see this poem has an A, B, B, C, C, D, D rhyme structure. So you have 4 couplets, 4 different kinds of rhymes, 4 different rhyming sounds. And so that's your challenge this week. See what you can make happen with some rhyme, some sound of poems. All right, take care. I hope you have a great poetry writing experience. James Dickey said, "Poetry is just naturally the greatest goddamn thing there ever was in the whole universe." James Dickey wrote a lot of, he wrote the book for the movie Deliverance. He was also, I think he was responsible for It's the Real Thing, Coke. He also wrote a lot of advertising. He would keep typewriters set up around his house, and he would have different projects in each typewriter. So he would work for a while on a poem, he would move to another room and he would work on a short story, he would move to another room and work on a novel or a play or a piece of advertising, and he felt himself differently in different rooms of his house. So as a writer, you might try that. You might walk around your house and try writing in different areas. Just take some paper with you, a pen, pencil, and just try writing in different places and see if you have different feelings in different rooms. Maybe some of them are inspiring and maybe some of them are not. All right, take care. See you soon. Questions, comments, wild screams of protest, as always, in the description. And be free. See you soon.